The Chicago Bears might have found a draft steal, and the best part? He's showing strong interest in the team as well. The player in question is Gray Zell from North Dakota State, and he has been turning heads throughout the draft process. He was arguably the biggest standout at the 2025 Senior Bowl and has continued to impress teams ever since. Zell's rise has been fast, and it's easy to see why. His versatility on the field makes him a valuable asset. He plays tough, and even he acknowledges that his ability to adapt is a key part of who he is as a player. Looking at his senior year, the numbers speak for themselves. In 12 regular season games, he played 752 snaps, earned an outstanding 93% overall grade, allowed only 1 sack, and committed just 2 penalties. His dominance didn't stop there. At the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine, he confirmed that he had a formal interview with the Chicago Bears, a team in desperate need of interior offensive line upgrades. Both sides came away feeling positive about the meeting. But before we dive into his Combine interview, let's talk about what really put Zell on the map: the Senior Bowl. His performance there skyrocketed his draft stock. Former NFL tight end and analyst Clay Harbor, a trusted voice when it comes to the Bears, spoke on 670 The Score and described Zell as the perfect guy for the Chicago Bears. During Senior Bowl practices, Zell looked like the best offensive lineman on the field, making it clear why so many teams, including the Bears, are taking notice. Let's hear it straight from Clay Harbor himself. "I've got the perfect guy for the Chicago Bears. He's from North Dakota State, Gray Zell. In college, he played both right and left tackle, but at the Senior Bowl, he moved inside to guard. Not only did he switch positions seamlessly, but I don't think he lost a single rep all week." Zell is the kind of player who can check multiple boxes across the offensive line, which is exactly what the Bears need as they figure out their front five. Of course, free agency will play a big role in shaping the roster, but Zell's versatility makes him a valuable option. Beyond his skill on the field, Zell is also intrigued by the idea of playing alongside Chicago's new franchise quarterback, Caleb Williams. When asked about his meeting with the Bears, he had nothing but positive things to say. "It went well. They're a really talented football team. I absolutely love the quarterback. Watching his highlights and understanding how special his talent is, that's pretty cool. And he's not wrong. Williams has an incredible ability to extend plays, which makes him exciting to watch. But it also creates challenges for his offensive line. His rookie season made that clear, as he was sacked a staggering 68 times, the most in the league. Some of those sacks were the result of him holding onto the ball too long, but it's still an area the Bears desperately need to improve." When asked how he would handle a situation like that, Zell responded with maturity and confidence. "Understanding what kind of quarterback you have is super important. Caleb's talent is remarkable. His footwork is unbelievable. But at the same time, you have to recognize both the pros and cons. Knowing who's behind you and what you need to do to protect him is key." Zell's awareness and adaptability make him an even more appealing prospect for Chicago. With his versatility and mindset, he could be exactly what the Bears need to strengthen their offensive line. At the end of the day, an offensive lineman's job is simple: protect the quarterback and make sure he stays upright, no matter how he plays behind you. Looking back at Gray Zell's career at North Dakota State, it's clear that he comes from a program that quietly produces pro-ready offensive linemen. In recent years, they've had players selected in the 2nd and 3rd rounds, and Zell is next in line. In 2024, he started at left tackle, but his experience goes far beyond that. During the 2023 season, he logged snaps at right tackle, left guard, and right guard. Then, at the Senior Bowl, he showcased even more versatility by proving he could play center as well. That ability to move around the offensive line has skyrocketed his draft stock. While he's probably not a first-round pick, Zell is expected to come off the board early on day 2, which is perfect for the Bears. Thanks to the trade with the Carolina Panthers, one that just keeps on giving, Chicago has 2 early second-round picks, putting them in prime position to land a player like him. But here's an interesting twist. Zell revealed a hidden talent at the Combine that could make him even more appealing to new head coach Ben Johnson, who loves creative play calling. "I actually played quarterback until 8th grade," Zell shared. "Then they saw my frame and said, 'Go have fun on the offensive line, forget about quarterback.' But I still think throwing a football is kind of a hidden talent of mine. Maybe a team sees that and gives me a shot." That might sound like a fun fact, but for Johnson, it could be a sneaky advantage. If you followed his offense in Detroit, you know he's the king of trick plays. He even let Penei Sewell, his right tackle, throw a pass for the Lions. Could Zell be next in line for a surprise play in Chicago? Only time will tell, but his versatility, both in blocking and beyond, makes him an intriguing prospect for the Bears. Ben Johnson has a history of getting creative with his offensive linemen, and his comments on Penei Sewell prove it. "The best part was that he threw a dime every single time in practice," Johnson said last year about Sewell. "We probably ran that play for 3 weeks straight. I mean, it was a perfect throw, better than some quarterbacks. Jared Goff did a pretty darn good job throwing on the move. But Sewell? The guy's just a freak." Now, I might be getting ahead of myself here, but can you imagine a trick play where Gray Zell throws the ball in a Bears uniform? It could catch opposing coaches completely off guard, which is exactly the kind of creativity Johnson loves to bring to an offense. But first, the Bears have to get the chance to draft him. If Zell is still available in the second round, he could be an enticing piece of the puzzle. Of course, everything depends on what the Bears do in free agency. But the good news? Chicago has plenty of draft capital to work with. And yes, I love using the word plethora. That's the word of the day. The Bears hold the number 1, first overall pick, the number 1, 10 pick, and 2 early second-round picks, giving them multiple options to strengthen the offensive line. Realistically, the Bears should target an offensive guard or tackle in the first round, especially with Trey Smith off the board. However, if they go all in during free agency, they might have more flexibility. Imagine if they sign Drew Dalman at center, grab someone like Mekhi Becton at guard, and add a veteran like Kevin Zeitler as a short-term solution. Another strong option? Will Fries from the Colts, who would be a solid plug-and-play addition at guard. There are a lot of different ways the Bears could approach this offseason, but one thing is clear. Improving the offensive line has to be a top priority, and with a player like Gray Zell potentially available, he could be exactly what they need. Before his injury, Will Fries was performing like one of the top 2 or 3 guards in the entire NFL. In fact, his grades were even higher than Trey Smith's. That's why the Bears will be closely evaluating his medical reports to see how well he's recovering from that leg injury. If Fries checks out, Chicago could find itself in a position to take the best player available. That could mean drafting a defensive end at number 10. Though let's not even bring up Ashton Jeanty. I'm not entertaining that idea. But with this draft being so deep at guard and tackle, the Bears could still land a top-tier offensive lineman in the second round. Someone like Gray Zell could be a fantastic pick. Even if the Bears take a player like Jared Verse or Dallas Turner in the first round, or if they trade down for someone like J.C. Latham or Amarius Mims, they could still double-dip and grab a versatile lineman like Zell on day 2. If they sign Drew Dalman at center and secure a solid guard in free agency, Zell could become either the long-term center or guard for Chicago. He'd be a smart investment in the trenches, and his stock is rising for good reason. What do you guys think? Feel free to drop your thoughts on the message board. I always make sure to respond. Let's keep the conversation going. Bear down.